Good afternoon and welcome to another Train Simulator Classic tutorial by Railworks and Gamer. Today we will be updating a video we sent out a long time ago about how to create these scenarios in Train Simulator Classic. So we thought we'd do the 2025 version as a few things have changed and XYZ is now working a bit better and we'll be using newer stock. So without further ado, we're going to split this into two parts. First part will be actually just adding the train and setting up the scenario. Second part will be actually creating AI, A1 traffic, which can be used to add some sort of depth to the scenario, make it look a bit better. So first thing we're going to do is go to scenario, and we're going to set the Riviera line. I know people are going to go, oh, it's so old, the Riviera line, it really needs an update. There is an update knocking around, and I have driven it before, believe once or twice, and it is very good. But unfortunately, after a install of Train Simulator, I've actually lost a lot of that stuff. So we're going to set a new scenario here. So it's going to be a timetable scenario. So we're going to click that. That's really important that you click timetabled. Otherwise, when you go to drive the train, different bits won't work properly. So we're going to call it the 10:55 GWR Paynton to Paddington. Ah, crikey, written in the wrong way. GWR Paynton to Paddington. I'm aware this really doesn't go all the way to Paddington, so we'll just be doing Paynton to Exeter. We're going to click create just like that. It won't take that long to load because it's quite a light route. There we go. It'll totally be quite quick actually. So the first thing we notice, we're now in the Paynton Riviera line. If we go to the weather, we notice it's DTG's own brand of weather, which is another bit out of date. So a lot of people are now using AP's weather pack, which I am as well. So we need to import that so we can use it for the weather. So first thing we're going to do is go to this menu here, and we're going to set this icon to import the weather. I will zoom in, and then we're going to come back over here. So zooming in over here, you can see we're in the AP menu. So these are all the list of assets that are in the game. Folders with assets in. So if you scroll down to weather and click weather EP just there. So the weather EP is now selected if we zoom back out, but we've now lost the menu where you can set the weather. If you double click back on this preloading icon, you get back to this menu here, and we're going to select the weather and we're going to call it AP High Cloud, which is my favorite. High Cloud is quite sunny, it makes everything look quite good. So we're going to click that one. We're going to set the scenario difficulty to a number 3. It's 3 out of 5, and the duration is about 40 minutes. Time-wise, we're going to actually be using a real service, and we're going to use the 10:55 Great Western Railway service, Paynton to Paddington. So we're going to set this to 10:53, just like that. Right, so if we now click play, it should have updated the weather and the time and the date. Which has, so high cloud's now up here so we can see that. So the next bit we need to do is actually add a train in. So if we go back to escape world editor, then scenario editor just like here, we can now import a train. So the first thing we're going to do is go back to our import menu, click that, and we're going to go to AP, and because it's a Great Western Railways long distance journey, we're going to scroll down till we find EP 800 EP, which is just here. So that's the enhancement pack selected. We actually still need to select the stock in the asset menu. So if we go down to DTG, I think they're the developer of 800 of the class 800 801. I can see it somewhere right in front of me just there. Apologies. Right, so next thing we're going to do is actually import the train into Train Simulator. So if we zoom out a bit so we can see it, because it's a GWR, we're going to go to user 800, so it's a consist. So you've got two menus here, or two icons. That's just separated cars, like carriages. This is wagons, and this is consist. A consist is a set of wagons put together that you don't have to do it yourself. So we're going to look for GWR. We're just going to look for a 5 or 10 car, I think. That's LNER, GWR, LNER. Hang on, where's GWR gone? There we go. So if we just look for a GWR 10 carriage, I mean 10 carriages, 10 cars, all right. We'll go for a 5 car, a bit easier to manage. So if we zoomed out a bit, we can see we've got the train sort of selected to the mouse. So we're going to just put that in here. Just going to zoom out a bit so it's not overshooting the station before the scenario starts. And the signal's just there, so just going to drop it down there. The first thing we're going to do, we're not going to set up the whole route first. We just need to make sure the train's functioning properly. This will save a lot of headaches and aggro a bit later. So first thing we're going to do is select it, give it a driver. Every good train has a driver, I suppose, unless it's a DLR in London. And we're going to click this just here. So the first thing we're going to do is going to actually name the train. So it's going to be the 1-2 Yankee Papa 1055 Paynton PGN, I believe, to pad. And we're going to select this starting at 10:53, and that's absolutely fine. So we're going to set, it's a user's train, so we need to set the player's consist button just there. And we're just going to test by giving it an instruction to pick up passengers at Paynton Platform 2, because that's where we are. To just double check where you are, if you just go on the map here, you can see your train just put in. And there's Paynton Platform number 2. Where's Paynton Platform 2? Paynton Platform number 2. So we're going to set that. It's going to sit here for a while. It actually departs at 10:55. So if we put the duration till 10:55, maybe 10:54 and 55 seconds, so the driver has time to actually go like that, and that will update how long the train sits here for. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to add the instruction to go to the next station, which will be Torquay Platform 2. The reason we're not adding at all currently is if you do this wrong here, it's a lot of work to put it back right. So we're just going to make sure it's all working properly first, just like that. So click OK. That's the train. It's got its 3 instructions. Before we go, we're just going to also change the power mode of the train. That might seem like a bit of a new concept to a lot of people, because I never used to do it, but you have to do it now for, especially in AP packs. So if you double click the train, I mean, first thing you can notice there's a pantograph. A pantograph collects electricity for the train to run and runs off a cabling system, overhead cables. But as this is a diesel route, we don't need that. We actually the diesel engines on the train to work. These are hybrid trains, so they can run on both. So if we double click the train, you'll get a menu to the right here. I'm just going to talk you through it. On the right hand side, you've got the fuel level. That dictates how much fuel the engines have. Just leave that at 100%. Don't drop it down, otherwise your scenario might crash. Underneath, you've got the actual the train number, so it's 800-025. We can change that if we want. We can change it to 26, but we're just going to leave it to whatever. And then lastly, actually 2 things, you'll notice there's a letter at the end of where it says A. We need to change that to where the train's going. So in the Armstrong Powerhouse manual, there's a table of destinations with a letter next to them. So as this train's going to London Paddington, I know the code is M. So if you click M here and ignore the rest, L equals 2, we can leave that. That's absolutely fine. But to make it into diesel mode, so when the train runs, we need to add something to the end of this. So if you put a semicolon and put P for power, then equals D. So the power mode is now equal to diesel. Diesel equals D. And that should fix this. So if we zoom out and click play before we get too involved in this, we can just test if it works. So what we're looking for during the test is when the train's selected, this is an area you'll get. First of all, just ignore that. Click F2 and click cancel for that one. First we need to check is if it's timetabled. So if we click T on the keyboard, yes, we can see it's timetabled. First one, we're going to actually open the doors as well. Apologies for that. So if we go to F, Q, cancel that, and then we can open the doors by clicking U on our keyboard. We can see that it's timetabled. Means the train can only leave and depart at the times of the set, which is a timetable scenario. Also the signal set for us, so we've got the route and path. And if we click F1 in our task list, we can see that we've successfully picked up passengers once the doors close in a few minutes, and then we can go to Torquay. So from a point of view, the scenario is now working correctly. We just need to add the rest of the contents to the timetable. So if we go to yes for scenario editing, go to this icon here, we can add the rest of the instructions. So if we click this one, we're just going to temporarily delete that. So it's going to go to Torquay platform number 2, and that should be there at 11:01 departure. So scroll down, scroll. Torquay platform number 2, tick that. Departure 11:01. That's perfect. If you know this route, the next station is Tor. So you just select the next one, just like that. So I'm going to go to Tor. Keep going down, 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 down. So Tor, platform number 2, like that. You just need to make sure you timetable each one. Next one is Exeter St David's. Crikey, not Exeter St David's, Paynton. Newton Abbot even. Go to Newton Abbot, and that is platform number 3 from the observing that little thing just there, or the map on the left-hand side. Newton Abbot, platform. Crikey, come on, platform 3, just like that. Next one off that will be Teignmouth. I only know this because I've done this route so many times. Teignmouth, and that will be platform number 2, timetable. Next one is Dawlish, and that will be platform number 2, you guessed it. And then after that, Dawlish, like that. And then you've got Exeter St David's, which is platform number 5, which is up Main down to London, up to London. Exeter St David's, platform 5. If you remember, we got an error saying the final destination had been set. That's absolutely fine. To do this, we just click this icon here and set that to Exeter St David's, platform 5, because that's our last pickup point, and then that will cure that error. And then if we click OK and click play, it should now have a fully working task list. Again, we're just going to test to make sure RT and timetable works. Fantastic, it does. So if we go to this cab, set up the cab, yep, and the F to cancel the alarm, Q to cancel the AWS. Let's set up our headlights, so that's H. So also we need to open our doors, which is the U key. And these will only shut once the timetable has completed. So if we change our headlights now, so that's H, I believe. Shift H, sorry. Let's just make sure once the door's shut, the train acknowledges that we want to leave, and that's the Q. If we go to F1 now, we can see all the tasks, all the drop-off and pickup points, and their rough timings, or timetable timings, if you will. And that should work. These should update once different things happen. So once the door's shut on this one, you will see that we'll get a tick here if we've done it properly, and the next task will be to pick up passengers at Torquay. Let's just wait. As ever, as I said, this will be a 2-part series, so we've nearly done number 1 now, which is just setting up the train and setting up the basics of the scenario. I hope it was useful in the way that you see how you set up the different power modes to the trains. That's quite a new feature, and it's always worth giving a bit of time to read through the Armstrong Powerhouse manuals for scenario creation, especially when a new train comes out, and that can be really helpful. So you can almost set it to have a cold start. So where we put on the side with the L equals 2, P equals 2, if you then did cold equals 1, I believe it is, the train being cold start mode, so you have to do that as well. But yeah, any questions, just drop them in the comments below. I hope it's been kind of informative. Try to keep it a bit quick. See, we've got a tick there, so you know that means we've selected it. So once the doors are shut, we'll get 2 guard buzzers just like that. Send one back, be polite, and then we're just going to go just like this, and we're now going forward. The only thing is, again, because they fixed all this, the barriers don't work, so this is why there's a bit of an update. But yeah, this is how it all works pretty much. Yeah, any questions, sorry, drop them in the comments below. Remember to give us a big like, a subscribe, and a thumbs up. We like all that glorious stuff. And we look forward to seeing you next week when we'll be adding the second part scenario and hopefully inspiring you to create some of your own ones.